Good evening and thanks so much for joining us on this Christmas evening. I'm John Adams. We're going to start off tonight in Oregon City, where crews had to battle a fire inside of a church. Crews responded to the Reformation Covenant Church just after 2 o'clock. Because it's a big day for people going to church, firefighters made a point of searching the building for people first. Fortunately, no one was injured in the fire, but firefighters say this is a great reminder about an important aspect of fire safety.
Large congregations like churches or malls or otherwise understand where your exits are at. So if an incident happens and there's some sort of an emergency, you can get out in a quick fashion.
Firefighters say the flames were spotted between the church's new roof and the old roof underneath it. That's an unusual situation which made it tough on fire crews. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Clackamas crews tell us the ATF will help out with their investigation because the church is a community space. And take a look at what crews had to deal with in Washington County last night. Fire broke out in this two-story home along Roy Rogers Road just after 6:30 on Christmas Eve. But crews had to go back at around midnight when heavy winds helped reignite that fire. Everyone managed to get out of the home safely, but the damage to the building is extensive. The Red Cross is helping the family out tonight. One firefighter was treated for exhaustion, but was able to return to work. In Southern California, 6 counties are under a state of emergency tonight. Heavy rains have led to flooding, with mud and debris flows rushing into neighborhoods, causing havoc and leading to rescues around the region. About 150,000 electrical customers woke up with no power this morning. A big part of the problem, a lot of this is happening in spots that got scorched by wildfires back in January earlier this year. Those burn scar zones have been stripped of vegetation and are less able to absorb water. Well, we've seen our share of heavy rain over the last few weeks, but things are looking mostly dry this coming weekend. Let's check in with Celine Stevens, who's got our post-Christmas forecast for us. Celine?
John, yeah, exactly. Merry Christmas. You know, we had a really nice Christmas too. Not too much rain, and it's going to be like that as we get into the weekend as well. Right now, looking at our sky cam in the Rose City, 41 degrees at the moment, looking nice and calm as well. Taking a look at our radar, you're going to see we had some rain early this morning, but less than 1/10 of an inch. So nothing too impactful. As you can see over the last few hours, we had a little bit more rain activity around 7, 8 o'clock. That's cleared up at this hour, and we're going to stay like that for the next few hours. Taking a look at our watches and warnings, though, we do have this winter weather advisory for the Cascades, the Central and Northern Oregon Cascades, and the South Washington Cascades. This goes into effect at 4 a.m. lasting through late Saturday. We're going to see wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour. That's snowfall up to 11 inches and elevations above 4,000 feet. So if you're traveling that way tomorrow, prepare for winter travel chains. Make sure your car is prepared and in good condition. But looking at our temperatures across the map, 41 here at home, 43 in Troutdale, upper 30s in Hillsboro. Along the coast, we're looking at more 30s, 39 in Tillamook and 43 in Newport. And so as we get into our Friday, we are going to have some shower activity. So expect some rainfall tomorrow, not even 2/10 of an inch of rain. So not a lot of rain, but on and off throughout the day. Around 1 p.m. we'll have a little bit more rainfall there. That'll continue through Friday, and then we get into our weekend and things really change. We're looking at mostly dry conditions. I'll have more for you coming up.
All right, Celine, thanks so much. We'll see you soon. Up in Western Washington, families are spending Christmas rebuilding after the White River levee failed. More than 200 homes had to be evacuated last week. Christian Balderas shows us what recovery looks like in the town of Pacific.
At Megan's Court Apartments, the contrast is stark. On the top floor, people are celebrating Christmas.
We woke up and opened some presents from Mom and Santa Claus.
But on the bottom floor, no one's home. Last week, the White River, located just feet away, flooded the complex, destroying everything.
It's very sad. Actually, just below us on the corner, my friend Carrie lives on the bottom floor, and she lost all of her stuff.
A gingerbread house remains on that neighbor's windowsill.
At this point, residents have salvaged what they could and tossed what they couldn't. The apartments have told a lot of these people, all living on the bottom floor, that their unit is going to be gutted and that it could be fixed in as early as a month, though a lot of people are skeptical of that.
I just screamed and woke everyone up.
We spoke with Carrie Weiss, who lives in one of those flooded bottom floor units. She's lived here for 6 years.
You were ready for Christmas. I was.
The moment my photographer and I walked in, the air was so damp our camera lens fogged up.
It smells like a swamp, and it's very soupy and moist and gross. And it smells.
Her apartment was filled with feet of water. Everything in here has to go.
This still has water in it.
In the other bottom floor apartments, it's the same situation. soaked carpets, mildew, and mold.
The bathroom got ruined.
When we asked Carrie about help,
I don't know, I haven't found it yet.
her insurance won't cover the damage. This apartment complex is in a flood zone. Now the message from many residents, both on the top and bottom floors, is clear.
Yeah, I plan to never live near a river ever again.
Governor Bob Ferguson says the flooding is one of the most devastating disasters in Washington's history. The Red Cross estimates the crisis area spans more than 123,000 square miles. President Trump has already approved an emergency declaration, but the governor says he's working with FEMA to secure a major disaster declaration, which would bring in even more federal resources. To get you caught up on tonight's other top headlines, the Pentagon confirms the U.S. launched a missile strike against Nigeria. President Trump posted earlier in the day that the U.S. launched the strike against ISIS, while Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth expressed his thanks to the Nigerian government for its support and cooperation. There is no word on how many were killed, but initial assessments report multiple fatalities in ISIS camps. At least one person is injured after a building partially collapsed in Rhode Island. This was the scene in Providence. Fire crews working to extricate a man from the debris. He was freed and transported to a local hospital with serious injuries. So far, the cause of the collapse is unknown. Pope Leo delivered his first Christmas message this morning. In his speech, he called for an end of global war, specifically talking about the situations in Ukraine and Southeast Asia. The Pope, who has made care for immigrants a key theme in his first year, lamented the situation for migrants and refugees who, quote, traverse the American continent. The Pope said refusing to help the poor and strangers was tantamount to rejecting God himself. While Christmas is traditionally a day most people have off to spend time with their families and celebrate the holiday, there are some businesses that stayed open and they need workers to be there. Movie theaters and Chinese restaurants are always popular spots on Christmas where staffing is all hands on deck. Jake Holter is joining us live in the newsroom with some of those stories from people working those jobs today. Jake?
Yeah, that's right, John. And you and I can certainly relate today. But you know, what I heard from people who had to work this Christmas was actually pretty positive.
I like coming here. This is my second house. This is my second home. This is my second family.
Cinema 21 in Northwest Portland slammed Christmas Day. Christmas can be a popular release date for movies. This year's Christmas release, Marty Supreme, starring Timothée Chalamet.
It's unusually busy. Even for as busy as we get, we don't usually sell out all three theaters.
Jake Heiteen has worked in movie theaters for around a decade and says he hasn't seen a smaller theater this busy since before the pandemic. Despite the packed house, Heiteen says customers have been very kind.
A lot of people are saying Merry Christmas, thank you for being here, and tipping us very well, which is nice as well.
A soft spot for movies and his coworkers, he had no qualms about taking one for the team on Christmas.
It makes it easy to come in on a day you don't want to, if you really like what you do and where you work and who you work with.
Over in the Pearl District, Frank's Noodle House also incredibly busy.
Christmas Day and Thanksgiving Day, most time really busy because a lot of restaurants closed. Only Chinese restaurant open. Yeah, well, we open it every year.
Frank Fong, yes, that Frank, says the business they get around the holidays, especially Christmas Day, can help balance out the rest of the year.
So during the holiday, so we want to make more money to cover my average, you know? Yes.
So a boon in sales for two local Northwest Portland businesses makes for a happy Christmas ending. John?
Yes, it does. Jake, thanks so much for that reporting.